We're in, we're synced, and we're ready to watch Angry Pikachu's take on Perpetuum after we've seen Angry Pikachu's not once but twice today have an amazing performance, and now we're seeing if they can do it a third time in a row.
What's up, guys? We're back here with Shadow Boy. Over on your order side of your map, we're going to have the Bushy on Neath with the big man Tings on his Dr. Vonus again. We saw him have an outstanding performance on Dr. Vonus in the previous game. He was able to hit so many raw pools. We have just Lofest on Odin, and he's going to be in the solo lane. And rounding out this comp, we have Darzer on that Agni in the middle lane.
And over in the Regis, we got Perpetuum, we've got Dirgius in the support as Geb, Angry Day QQ in the solo lane as Hell, in the middle lane Revel playing Zhang Kui, Vastrical in the Hunter role as Ho Yi, and finally in the jungle we've got Tiki playing Bologna. Oh, really? So it's a mid-Hell and a solo lane Zhang Kui, my apologies. So, a little bit uncharacteristic of most teams. Most teams would elect to throw Hell in, I guess, the best farming lane. Having that blue buff is quite beneficial for most mages, or most Hells.
Yeah, Reveal actually missed his card on the speed buff camp. That's unfortunate, as that's going to slow their clear time down as they all head over to the solo lane. It's going to cause Tiki to take a little bit more poke than he would like to. Fortunately, he is able to land the card on 2 out of 3 minions on the blue buff, so getting better every time.
Now, we didn't get to see the picks and bans and what order they were in, but I think I'm understanding why certain picks are going where they are. So Odin is the solo laner, which means that they wanted to give Hell the best chance of being able to lane accordingly. And going up against Odin makes it a little bit difficult to do so, just because he has, of course, that 100% anti-heal with his cage. So, that being said, it makes sense that they want to throw Hell over here in the mid lane, and then just let Bologna kind of soak up a little bit with her to just make sure that she doesn't have to use too much resources to clear wave.
Yeah, while we didn't get to see picks and bans, I think it's safe to say that Perpetuum picked up that Hell and was not able to ban out the Odin, and then that's probably why they sent her to mid in response. As we said, it's kind of uncharacteristic for the Kui to go in solo and the Hell to go in mid. It was probably as a response because that's such an unfavorable matchup for Hell against Odin in the solo.
So over in the dual lane, Neath and Sylvanas, we didn't get a lot of chance to talk about that either, but I think that Neath in general is an AD carry that's kind of not looked down on, but not really respected as much as she used to be. She still has such great boxing potential against certain gods. She also has a lot of good lane presence with the Unravel. So I feel like she's a character that you would expect to see in a lot more team comps than she actually is.
Yeah, definitely Neath not known for her late game hyper carry, but she does offer a lot of control and early lane pressure, as does Sylvanas. Both dual lanes are very respectable laning mates. Over in the solo lane, we see Reveal getting pretty low here against the Odin, who was kind of 1v2ing against Tiki and them. Gonna take a lot of poke though from the bludgeon damage. He is getting low, taking archer damage as well. He needs to be aware of that. These early game archers can get out of control. It's something to always keep an eye on.
I think that Perpetuum could have actually invested a lot more into that kill. I mean, even though he does have the red pot ticking on him, I feel like there was a lot more kill opportunity that they just kind of passed up, just out of fear of the character. But heavy rotations look to be the call into the back part of Perpetuum's jungle camp, but they're not feeling too confident in doing so. It looks like they're just going to back off. I think they were waiting for Angry Day QQ to either come up or back or something, but he is going to get stunned out by Agni and take a lot of damage, but here comes the good guy Tiki to try and save the day, and they almost made a big play there. Almost. Not able to complete it just yet.
Yeah, that was a really good Eagles rally. Actually, as we see, Reveal actually barely able to pick off just Lofest in the solo lane. Looks like he's got about 30 HP left. Serket was stunned under tower from Eagles rally for a very short amount of time, but unfortunately the tower shot did not go off. That would have resulted in the kill. That would have been first blood for Perpetuum here in the mid lane, but fortunately they were able to pick it up in the solo lane. Reveal doing a great job there.
Yeah, them getting the first blood in the solo lane was very beneficial. It's going to give Jean-Qui a little bit more breathing room, especially since he's been pushed a tower. In fact, actually got first blood under his own tower from over-aggression from Odin. So just having that is going to allow him to maybe come up in lane a little bit more and possibly just tank through all of Odin's damage, which is very unfortunate for Odin.
Yeah, Odin just getting a little bit too ahead of himself. Looking to stall this lane here as Jean-Qui has not shown his face. Bird Bomb going to quickly clear out the archers here. Three-man group in middle lane here. Looking like they might want to go aggressive. Serket blinking out. Last Breath's going to come out onto Hell, who is able to just beads and walk away from this one alive.
Yeah, but that is Bede's going to be down for quite a bit of time. And they're going to look for more opportunities like the one we just saw from Serket. It's just going to be resulting in a kill next time unless Hell lands a pretty clutch cleanse.
Yeah. For sure. Unfortunately for Serket, that was a blink one, so that has a similar cooldown to Bede's one, so the aggression might be... Hell's going to have to find herself out of position, and she doesn't have to worry about that blink for about as long as she doesn't have to worry about her beads being on cooldown.
Now over in the soul lane, Odin is just kind of lurking around the jungle trying to look for the opportunity to jump on this blue buff, possibly steal it. He did lose a little bit of advantage earlier when he died to Jean-Qui. Not too much though. Jean-Qui is only 100 gold behind Odin, so there still is a gold lead in favor of Odin. It's just not as strong as it was before.
Yep, Tiki going to be able to secure a blue buff for him and head on back to his back camps as the Guardians they're both sitting in mid lane here, kind of babysitting. Worldweaver actually going to come out onto Durgius, followed up by Agni Bombs and the taunt for Serket. But the Geb Shield is going to be proved to be too much mitigation. He's just going to roll on out of that one laughing.
Cataclysm used to just make sure that he didn't get aggressed on under tower too much and die. Actually could have ended up getting a kill had Serket jumped in the tower. She would have died. So very, very safe responses, but I don't know about you, but I smell s'mores because they are really camping out in this middle lane looking for any opportunity possible.
They've kept up that high right ward up on the mid camps to allow them vision of anyone trying to rotate in, and they've just been camping out themselves here. As Serket heads back on to help Agni clear out this red buff. Mid camp's looking like they're going to respawn here in about 30 seconds. They haven't quite started blinking yet. The timers are slightly staggered as the left one has just come up. Geb has elected not to strangely enough go for these. He's just going to give those over to Angry Pikachus for free pretty much.
Now over in the middle lane, Tiki's just kind of chilling out, waiting for the opportunity to come up to the wave, but the Pikachu is coming around the backside and is spotted out by a ward, so not going to get any sneaky aggression over in the duo lane. And Angry Pikachus are basically just fishing for some kind of kill opportunity. They haven't been able to freely do anything. Geb being consistently around the middle lane is making sure that Serket doesn't get free kills onto Hell or any other party member on that side, and so it's kind of a repeat of a couple of games we saw a while ago where either they're going to get the high burst damage and keep Hell down, or they're not going to be able to do that at all. And so far, Hell has been able to steady make it through the early game.
Yeah, for sure. Not too much action on the map thus far in the game. Angry Pikachus have had pretty decent mid-camp control this game. They've found themselves up about 500 gold, I would say, as pretty much a direct result of those mid-camps. And what most people may not know, the mid-camps are actually like one of the most highly experienced, they give like the most experience in the game. So on top of this almost 700 gold lead now, as we see Serket leap over the wall onto Odin, who has popped his ring on top of Jean-Qui. Last Breath in conjunction with that is going to be enough to find another kill over in the solo lane.
But the Gold Fury call immediately afterwards, they're going to dump everything they can into getting this as soon as possible. Sylvanas is here. He does have an ultimate and just uses it, and that's going to be Perpetuum getting the Gold Fury. However, they might lose a couple of party members because of this aggressive call, and that's going to be Darzer finding one kill into Vastrical. Durgius is desperately running away. He should be able to survive here. Hell plus members is going to be able to get him out. So getting the Gold Fury, losing 2 overall, not a bad day.
Oh yeah, that's totally worth it. Gold Fury is usually worth about trading 3 kills for it is where you'll break even, and they were only had to give up 1 kill for it. So definitely a win for Angry Pikachus here. Looking over at the graphs, The gold difference has been normalized as Perpetuum. The gold fairy did go to Perpetuum. Experience still about 3K in favor of Angry Pikachu's, however.
So now it looks like Perpetuum wants to come in, possibly do an aggressive play. I'm really interested to see if Darzer can have as dominant of a performance on Agni as we've seen him on Janus. He seems to be very confident with most of the mages we've seen so far. In fact, in this game in particular, I believe he actually is second highest player damage at 2.3k so far at 9 minutes, as Odin is the highest player damage, which is normal. Most bruisers are going to lead the player damage charts early on in the game, especially from the solo lane, because they are just consistently boxing with their opponent.
Yeah, Odin definitely has a very strong poke game, coming out with the bird bomb here. Tiki putting a little bit of, showing some presence here in the mid lane, as is big man Tings, as we see the left mid camp spawning here. Are these going to go, again, these just go to Angry Pikachus for free. No real contention coming out here for the mid camps from Perpetuum. This could start to spell trouble for them, as the experience lead is now over 3,000 in favor of Angry Pikachus.
Well, it's really interesting because you look at the player damage chart as I was just there. In fact, all the player damage numbers on the side of Angry Pikachu's are higher than that of Perpetuum. There is not a single person on Perpetuum's side that is above the Angry Pikachu's. Now, this might be a glitch on my side, but Hell has 97 player damage apparently. So that's like a couple of auto attacks.
Yeah.
That's a couple of auto attacks. That's literally abysmal.
That's very strange, actually. But hey, it is EU, man. It is EU. Anything can happen. Hashtag 97 player damage at 10 minutes. It is what it is.
That means he literally has not hit anybody with an ability. That is incredible. They have been putting that much pressure on the mid lane.
That's pretty nuts, honestly, when you stop to think about it.
That means for 10 minutes, she has not landed a single ability on anybody.
Yeah.
So, really good job by Angry Pikachu to keep enough pressure into the middle lane to where Hell has been a no factor whatsoever. And now that's going to start to really show, as Hell, again, just being that supportive style character, staying in white stance, and oh man, the yoinkums, but unfortunately the whole party of Angry Pikachu wasn't paying attention to that. They were too busy looking at Vastrical in the back line, which they are able to secure. And now it looks like they're going to turn their attention over to this very low Tiki, who is ticking down very lowly. And it's going to be a retreat coming out.
Just shy of the kill there. Yeah. Great stuff coming out from Angry Pikachu's. Able to find Vastrical caught out way in the back line there. They're just going to clean up this purple buff. Gold Fury is not yet spawned, so they're likely just to elect to go back to the lanes. Continue farming, as we see the slap fight continue over in the solo lane. Not much to report on there.
Hey, I mean, you know, Solo Island will be Solo Island. If you want to come by, maybe grab a margarita. It's all good. Yeah. If you like pina coladas, all that good stuff. But you know, Solo Island, there is some intricacies of it. So, for example, who has the quicker rotations? Who has the TP? And right now, Odin does have that in his favor. So, in the event that a big fight breaks out, say over the Gold Fury, Odin does have a slight advantage in that fashion.
Indeed, yeah. He's got the teleport as well, so he's going to be able to easily out-rotate Zhonghui across the map. So if he can just keep him here, you know, Angry Pikachu's is free to start up fights or objectives across the map, and they can rest assured that Odin will be there and Zhonghui will not.
Yeah, he's going to bring a lot of damage with that Bird Bomb. Take a look at his build for a second. He actually has the Warrior Tabi, which is bringing a lot of damage. And he also has Pestilence, so really respecting that early
Rathatear coming out onto 2 here. Taunt coming out from Serket, followed up by the last breaths. Agni's going to dash across, cutting off Hell's path back to the tower without taking damage. She's going to try and juke, but the World Weaver will secure this.
Yeah, they give it to Neath, and now they're going to just go ahead and retreat here as Zhonghui did make his way over to the middle lane. Oh, there's the Eagles rally landing onto Sylvanas, who is forced to retreat. Should be able to do so freely. Just Lofez TP'd over to the middle tower and is making his presence known, but it shouldn't really be any more aggression from these two. 4-1.
Bit of a 1v1 coming out. Ooh, Bushy able to she speared arrowed Vastrical as he turned his back. She backflips under tower. He turned his back, and she just pressed the aggression, speared arrowed him in the back, and cleaned up that kill. Great stuff coming out from Bushy.
Nice. That is That is pretty good stuff. But Cage comes out under the tier 1 tower, and now Odin is basically acting like a martyr, only having magical defense, but still tanky enough to leash the aggro, or to hold the aggro from the tier 1 tower in the middle lane long enough for his team to possibly get some kills, but unfortunately not enough damage just yet with all the healing and Geb shield involved.
Yep, Gabriel able to knock Agni away from that tower, preventing any further aggression. But on the duo side of the map, we have Bushy able to clean up that tier 1 tower. That's going to be a nice 500 gold, but a big team sparking. Rathaterra on the floor. Big Man Ting's not going to be enough, though. He is going to be picked off quickly, and Gepshield is going to be able to bail out Hell, Bologna, and Jean-Qui for now. The Birdbomb coming through, doing good damage. Last breath onto Tiki in the backline. He's going to be cleaned up very quickly by Darzer.
You know, it's always funny watching like a group of people run away from another team, because if any of them get caught, there's not even a second of hesitation by the other team. It's just bye.
Yeah.
Sorry for your luck. I was faster than you. Oh man, it's cold blood, but it's a responsible call, because now you're limiting your losses, so it's completely reasonable. It's just funny imagining just like this sad moment of, don't go.
Yeah. As we see, Pikachu actually looked like they started the Gold Fury, leashed it, tried to set up a little bit of an ambush, but I mean, Perpetuum had no wards, they had no idea, so Pikachu's like, alright, well if y'all ain't trying to stop us, then we'll just take this for free.
Yeah, I mean, you know, nothing really holding them back from taking that. They thought that there might have been a ward on that objective, so they waited a little bit.
Yeah, World Weaver and Taunt coming out onto Geb here, but not much follow-up as he's able to just shield most of the damage. Oh, I just saw Hell hit a skill shot, so she's definitely surpassed the 100 damage player mark.
She's still at the bottom at 1.9k. She is still at the bottom of the player damage. I have been staring at this number. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have been waiting. I'm like, there's no way Hell is gonna rock bottom player damage below everybody all game, and Geb is sitting a solid 1k over her. So
yeah, we'll see if she's able to turn that around late game. I think the name of the game for Hell was just to not die in the early game. She's gonna do her thing now that she's kind of like, she's made it to mid game okay without too many deaths on her. We see Agni far and away above, about 2k above the rest. Head and shoulders for Darzer's Agni above.
And you know, to all the people watching, don't get the idea that Hell is doing bad right now, because at the end of the day, you look at her player healing, she's already at 6.2k at 15 minutes. That's not a bad number. That's actually higher than everyone but Agni's player damage. So she is fully embraced the role of the supportive mage, just she happened to be in the middle lane, which is where you usually expect your burst damage mage to be, but not the case this time. So she's doing her job. Like that is her role.
Yeah, pretty big group in here coming out. 3 players in mid lane, 4 Perpetuum, 4 for Angry Pikachu's ganged up here. The high, deep in the jungle of Perpetuum on the left side here. Looking like they might want to start up. They're really abusing their vision advantage right now, which I like.
Oh,
great Brothel, but it does in fact pull him out of 2 Agni Bombs. World Weaver comes out onto a Geb. They're really dumping a lot into this Geb right here that really just needed to shield himself. And unfortunately diffuses most of that aggression. They dumped a real, kind of way too many ultimates in my opinion into Geb in that fight.
But that pull though.
Yeah, that pull. That was hot. But it would have been hotter to let him sit in 2 Agni Bombs personally.
I mean, like, all misplays aside, that pull though. That's what Big Man Tings is probably saying in his comms right now. But over in the solo lane, Odin's still split pushing, gonna draw the attention of Jean-Qui, who does not have teleport. And meanwhile, in the middle lane, Serket is gonna all in invest into this Hell, who now has to deal with all the aggression of the enemy team. Any bombs? Yep, that's going to be 1 bomb killing off Angry Day QQ. And that pull again is not going to be able to knock up Bologna. She was shielded, beads, as well as any kind of other CC immunity. But she is taking a lot of damage nonetheless. Still has to avoid getting anywhere near this Agni as surrender votes come out as the Bushy kills off Vasco 1v1.
Yeah, he got salty after that one. That's the second time he's been 1v1. His manhood is being called into question, as the not necessarily known for her hyper carry Neith has shown up twice and taken him out all by herself.
I don't know what it is about playing Hunter, but when you do play Hunter and you get 1v1 in that position, it feels so much worse.
Yeah, Neith she finds herself 3 levels ahead. Like Bashko, you gotta play back. You gotta respect Neith. You know, her Spirit Arrow did receive a buff not too long ago, so her burst damage can take you by surprise for sure.
And a lot of people still forget about her Unravel like debuff, the auto attack speed debuff, because
Oh yeah.
it's not necessarily talked about a lot, but that's a huge factor, especially when you consider someone like Hou who does gain benefit on his auto attacks from Mark of the Crow. So you add that debuff into the factor, and now even though your Mark of the Crow is a very strong boxing tool, it's being mitigated by a built-in tool on Neith's side, which is further amplifying the advantage that she has over you due to the experience and gold difference.
Taking a look here, everyone's just kind of cleaning up their buffs on their way back out from base. Looking at the builds here, we see the Divine Ruin come out from Zhang Kui. In your opinion, is this really worth picking up against just a Sylvanas heal? Like, is Sylvanas heal impactful enough to warrant this Divine Ruin coming out on Zhang Kui?
You know, I'll go ahead and make the statement. I feel like it's not good enough to warrant against a Sylvanas, but against a big man Tings, maybe.
That's different. You're right. This is no
Because-
ordinary Sylvanas, folks. This is the
because
big man
actually-
Tings.
Actually, last time we saw Big Man Tings on Sylvanas, he out-player healinged a Hell. Now, Hell didn't have exactly the best performance, but Sylvanas consistently kept
Over in the
his
duel
player
lane again here. We got another 1v1 going on. Vashko just barely making it out. As Bushy would have been able to clean that kill up with the World Weaver had Geb not come through with the shield. All 10 players on the map here are looking at this tier 1. Big Man Ting's throwing out the pull, not going to connect on this one. They're going to elect to just back off here. The Gold Fury has spawned. Pikachus have the war coverage. They can go ahead and start this up or bait the ambush, and it looks like it's going to be the latter.
They're going for the Neith kill, and they very well could get it. However, the entirety of Angry Pikachu is going to pull a pinch maneuver, and there it is. They're going to invest on the Hell first. They know exactly who they have to focus down. They're going for it, not able to get it just yet. Rapidaria is going to secure the kill there, and meanwhile, Hou Yi's burst damage is setting up maybe a turnaround play. Cataclysm onto all 4 members of Angry Pikachu, who are now on the retreat. At least Agni is. He's going to be taken out. Now on the backside, Geb's shield is going to protect Hou Yi just long enough to secure the kill onto the Pikachu, and Neith unable to finish off. Hou Yi is now backflip. Do it, the triple backflip. No, that's going to be 1 kill going over to Neith, and Tiki is going to be able to find the kill on the Bushy. Oh my gosh, I was just waiting for that backflip. I'm not even going to lie. That
What a
was
team fight. Yeah, that was great stuff coming out from Neith. She was able to stay strong, find 1 return kill, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough, as Perpetuum is going to be able to go over here now and take this Gold Fury for free.
But yeah, so now it looks like the Gold Fury is going to go their way. They're going to swing the gold difference down a bit more. Still going to be behind, but not as behind. Experience, the bigger number to talk about, at 6K still, even after the Gold Fury, even after that fight. That's a huge number to be down when you consider the powerhouses that are on the side of Angry Pikachus. I mean, the Pikachu himself, Darzer, Odin, all these characters really benefiting, but most of that experience actually going on to the Bushy.
Yeah, for sure. Big Man Tings was able to actually find Bellona's beads in the middle lane with a quick root and a pull, but wasn't able to find the follow-up there from his team. Both teams just kind of headed back to lanes at this point. Mid camps going again to Angry Pikachus. I think this is why we're seeing the XP difference kind of so heavily in favor of Angry Pikachus, because Perpetuum just they haven't put up a fight for these mid camps. I don't know, they must not value them as much as Pikachus, clearly.
Maybe they just fear like losing too much for the attempt at contesting the mid camps, because once they fell behind, maybe they felt there was no real chance. I mean, for goodness sakes, Hell is still at 2.4k player damage, so I don't think that they have a very strong representation at those mid camps if they're not going to have at least the aggressive part of the mage in the middle lane. But heavy rotations over to the soul lane. Nah, it's just going to be diffused pretty easily, as Odin is a hard target to kill, but all the same, everyone's going back to a regular stasis of the game, just kind of trying to farm up a little bit more before they start getting into heavy teamfight rotations.
Yeah, we're seeing Sylvanas electing to go into that shell as opposed to the weakening curse, which is common against Hell. Because they were able to get that Odin pick, it's going to free up more slots for them. They won't have to pick up the weakening yet. We still have 3 open active slots. Not likely to be picked up on Neith. But yeah, that Odin ring is gonna definitely pay dividends for them in that they're kind of wide open is what they can go for in actives.
Yeah, I'm really, considering what active Odin is going to go here, because he could go the Weakening Curse since he is going to be the backline harasser, so he has two options. So first off, he uses the cage, then after the cage is done, you go into the Weakening Curse, which is offering that slow, as well as the anti-heal. Both of which, in succession, would be very helpful towards Angry Pikachu's. But he could also go for the Blink and have a second initiator outside of Sylvanas. So it looks like he is actually going to go for the Blink option, and that's very strong all the same, because now you can actually just jump right onto Hell and have no issues there.
Yeah, exactly. He can blink in and ult as opposed to kind of last fight. He did it well, but he had to use his leap to get in there, at which point he was pretty much a sitting duck and got picked off shortly thereafter, dropping his ring.
So heavy rotations back over to the right side of the map as Neith is looking over to the left. She wants to try and split push away and channel her inner Apollo. And meanwhile, just Lopez is kind of awkwardly walking away just from the soul lane, saying, "Oh, that's a lot of red coming my way." But Neith already back into the lane. This man is a god. This man is a god at pulls. He's not gotten anything really out of half of them. But just the fact that he's landing them is disgusting.
It always is in the back of their minds there. We see a good Spirit Arrow come out, not much follow-up with the Agni Bomb, who he was able to dive bomb away before that damage came through. Both teams just kind of playing footsie. Odin blinks in, drops the ring, just like we speculated, but he's way out of position now. His team is not following up quite. Good Cataclysm on the 4 members, followed up by an Eagles Rally. Bologna is deep in the back right now, followed up by a big Sunbreaker on the 3 targets. Everyone's getting very low right now. No deaths have come out just yet, but Hell is going to be able to top off this team, and they're able to aggress onto this tower, whereas Angry Pikachu just has to back up at this point.
Big misplay coming out there from Odin. There's not enough communication, I feel, that led to actual results after that Odin Ring of Spears. I mean, it could have been a great play. Don't get me wrong. That could have been an amazing play.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any real strategy to it. But let's go ahead and give it a second try, as this time he uses the leap to set up two members underneath his Odin Rings, and that's going to be Darzer finding the first kill of this entire long and overextended fight, and they're going to continue it. Hell Heals is keeping everyone relatively comfortable, but how long is that going to last, as now they are completely on the aggressive side, on the side of Angry Pikachu's, now turning their attention over towards the Fire Giant. Oh.
Yep, Perpetuum making a little bit moves to come back in here. Geb rollout, gonna knock Neith away. Kind of effectively splitting up the team if they want to go here. They're getting pretty low.
Oh.
Geb is not able to be in a frontline position at this fight, though. They are able to take out Tings quickly. Quickly followed up by Eagles Rally. Bludgeon's gonna do great damage, but she's gonna be stunned out by Agni. Good blink followed up by Geb. He's gonna miss the rollout. He's a little separated from his team right now. And yeah, Pikachu's able to just collapse as Geb was not near his carries. He tried to get the kill for his team, but it just ended in a result for Pikachu.
Yeah, now Dirgius is going for the rollout, but unfortunately for him, they were predicting it and went ahead and caught him out. So Cat doing a wonderful job of bringing Angry Pikachu's back into that fight. And now they're going to be rewarded with a Fire Giant, unless Jean-Quick gets over here soon. But I don't know if he really believes that it's being done. He did the back Harpies in the meantime, which was kind of a mistake if you look at the health bar of this Fire Giant, which is now completed. And they're going to turn attention over to the Jean-Quick. Yeah. So, didn't get any... Okay, I don't know if that cage is necessary.
He's dead to rights.
But...
Yeah, your boy's like, he's popping that cooldown all the time. He's got it off whenever he needs it. It's going to be up in another 30 seconds. Why not?
He went ahead and threw down the arena for the fight. He said, "Fight!" And just left him. I've actually done that to friends before. Back when Odin Ring Spears, you couldn't escape if you were an ally.
Yeah.
I would leave them in an unfavorable fight and then just jump out and be like, "Match begin! Fight!" And then just laugh my whole way back to the base. But those were fun times when you could control your own teammates. However, I am excited to see what Odin does once it becomes, him trying to zone out for towers, phoenixes, gold furies, because that's another utility of this cage. He can lock people out of trying to defend big objectives that they need to defend.
Yeah, Perpetuum, really, Hui is the only one that can dive effectively over that cage. As we see Angry Pikachu's pretty much just blow up this Gold Fury for free. They're going to probably then turn their sights, I would imagine, to the far left lane power and hopefully the Phoenix, as this is the most valuable Phoenix for the Order side to take down first because it provides pressure as far away from the Fire Giant as possible, allowing for those really like extended Fire Giant footsie matches we saw last game kind of work out in the favor of the team who has taken down the far side Phoenix.
So now 5 men strong, and it looks like Angry Pikachus are just going to keep pushing over in the left side. No, actually they're going to make their way over to the last remaining Tier 2 tower on the middle lane. Well, I guess it'd be the only Tier 2 tower in the middle lane, but that being said, they are going to get it, and Odin throwing down the Ring of Spears. They find the kill onto Geb first, and possibly onto the Zhongqi next as Vashkul takes off just Lopez, and the ticks are not going to be enough. However, the hot yoink is going to land on the Hoi Yi, and he's going to get taken down very low, but Hell is going to ensure that he survives and escapes just fine.
Yeah,
Wait,
I
you
suppose
never
you
heard
could
that
call
sound
that
effect?
the hot yoink. I love it.
Yoink!
I'm with it. Yeah, about even trade 1-for-1 there, but you got to give that to Perpetuum there because they did take the Fire Giant off one of the members. Not that it has long left to tick on the side of Angry Pikachus, but they're just going to head back, spend all the gold they've earned from those Tier 2 towers. Heading on back to the graphs, we've hit that magical point, 10,000 gold in favor of Pikachus. Almost 20,000 XP. As we start to see the level 20s though, that will kind of become normalized and not really effective XP lead anymore. But the gold lead is still important as no one has really finished their build yet, so this is still effective gold in the favor of Angry Pikachus.
You know, we talked about earlier about how Hell was completely embracing the role of the supportive mage. She's still bottom player damage, and you take a look at her build, it's no surprise. She's got the damage boots, Breastplate of Valor for the CDR, Spirit's Robe for a little bit more CDR, as well as Divided Protections, and she's sitting on a really comfortable player healing of 17, almost 18,000. That's huge. So she's really embraced the role of I'm helping my team survive.
Yeah, as much as we poked fun at her earlier for only having 100 player damage, she's making us eat our words now, as she's really begun to pay dividends for her team, not falling behind early, able to take her into the late game where she can be a very impactful team fight force, keeping her team topped up the whole time in these very extended engagements that we've seen. See a little bit of a skirmish starting here over. Pikachu is real caught out, but Serket has 20 escapes, so she's going to be able to get out of that position with ease as they back off. Final Tier 2 falling for Angry Pikachus. Only things now left for them are the Phoenixes.
So not a bad power play by the guys on the side of Angry Pikachus. They cleared out all the Tier 2 towers, so that's 900 gold going into each individual pocket of the members of Angry Pikachus, as well as cleared out a couple of camps, and I think got 1 or 2 kills after the Fire Giant. So not a bad day overall. They've really tried to excel their lead, and they've been rewarded with it, with achieving the Fire Giant and getting other plays done. But taking a look at the build, here's a couple of items that I didn't expect to see. So I didn't expect to see on the side of Angry Pikachus a 5th item Divine Ruin from Agni, which is going to help a lot. But I also didn't expect to see the Brawler's Beat Stick on Serket.
Yeah, so I think the philosophy here was they have the Odin Ring for the they've got 2 Brawlers Beat Sticks, one on Neath, one on Serket. They have elected to go for no weakening curses. Because they have the Odin Cage, I think Pestilence combined with these Divines and these weakening, that's gonna pretty much equate. That's gonna be 55% healing reduction, which is just about what a weakening curse will do for your team. This in conjunction with that low cooldown Odin Ring, I think this is a great call. These are good items coming out for the side of Angry Pikachus, able to provide the anti-healing that they need to kind of shut down this Hell who's really starting to snowball out of control with the player healing.
And there it is. Odin jumps in. Not going to use the Ring of Spears, though. He's going to actually just end up walking back. Meanwhile, Serket's on the backside looking for the best chance to get onto Hell. And she sees it. She's going in. I can hear the sound effect of Jaws as Serket is looking for the opportunity to get onto Hell, and there it is. She's actually going to turn her attention over to the lowest member of Vastrical, who's going to jump over the wall of the Fire Giant pit just to try and escape. And this fight is completely spread out. Darzer is going to be taken out from a ricochet across the jungle, and that's going to be Odin locking in 2 people while poor Zhongqi is by himself. but are they going to be able to take advantage of this? They're looking to try and do so. Angry Day QQ barely surviving. No, that's not going to be his survival, but he does get the revenge kill from the grave onto the Circuit. Jean-Qui probably... Oh, he walked right back into it. He walked right back into that Kumba Stomp, as now Geb is the next person to fall here. He doesn't have any way to get out of that. Double Kumba Stomp for
Double
Just
boot.
Lopez. And they're
Boot
gonna
the
go
snoot.
ahead.
They're going to head on over towards the middle Phoenix as we see the pings coming out here. Yeah, we really saw, as we were touching on the anti-healing items, we really saw that pay dividends for them, as their Odin cage had already been used, but they were able to keep up anti-healing pressure post-Odin ring with those brawler beat sticks.
And I think the thing that I liked the most was that Odin was able to use the cage to completely separate Hell and Geb from the fight and allow for the rest of the members of the Angry Pikachus to just try and make something happen on the Jean-Qui, which of course Jean-Qui was able to get back over towards his teammates, but just having that ability to separate a fight is really beneficial towards Angry Pikachus, as they're trying to get the Black Phoenix, do get it, are probably going to lose Big Man teams, but that's pretty worthwhile to get two
Yeah, if
Phoenixes.
they can get out here, that's definitely worth.
Yeah, if they can get at least one person out. Odin tries to get out the Bushy, but unfortunately not going to happen. Good play by just Lopez, but two people for two Phoenixes, I'd take the two Phoenixes any day.
Perpetuum has to move for the Fire Giant now, and it looks like they're going to... This is their window to come back. They've just dropped two people down. You know, the Fire Creeps have not had a chance to push up yet. They need to pressure this Fire Giant now. There's no tank... There's no real frontline presence yet, as Odin is able to teleport in, though. They need to take a good fight here. This is the last chance for Perpetuum.
Yeah, they can't afford to let Fire Creeps just control the pacing of the game here. They've really run out of options, but unfortunately it's really hard to actually secure a kill onto quite a few of these guys on Angry Peaches. Their disengage is not awful at all. So Agni having his dash, Saket having two escape mechanics makes it really difficult for them to actually fully commit to the fight. So they have to try and fully commit to the Fire Giant, and unfortunately that's even hard to do because of Odin. And that 3-man stun from Agni is just really showing how hard it is for Perpetuum to actually go for this Fire Giant. But
You're exactly right.
They have the potential to go for the fight, and are they going to be able to do it is the question.
They've already taken out Hu Yi. Pikachu is going to get pretty low here in the backline. He's able to get out as revealed. Picks up a return kill onto Darzer as they aggress forward onto Geb, knocking one away. Turns around, knocks up Odin, but the Bushy able to pick up return kill onto Jean-Qui. Odin with a good ring, keeping two under the tier 2 tower. Is it going to be enough, though? Geb is very tanky. His shield's not quite off cooldown. One more tower shot should do it. Great job. Pikachu following up quick in here. Tiki is pretty much dead to rights here, as Perpetuum's Titan has already been aggressed on by huge amounts of fire creep here in the middle lane.
And Angry Day QQ desperately running with no mana. This should... Oh, there it is. This should be dead.
Great Spirit Arrow. Aegis, that ain't gonna save you, buddy.
That Aegis is so pointless. But 30 seconds left, or excuse me, 15 seconds left until the next person spawns. Fire creeps are pouring out on two sides. That's
gonna be game. I want to point out one thing before this game over. Pikachu's played that perfectly, and that they were able to just keep distracting Perpetuum away from the Fire Giant. They caused 3 hard disengages from Perpetuum off the Fire Giant, buying plenty of time for their team to respawn and re-engage, cleaning up that fight and able to just blow down the middle lane, which they had already taken the Phoenix.
So Angry Pikachu showing strong performances all day. I mean, they have not dropped a single game all day today. And, you know, keep in mind, Angry Pikachu's was actually on the lower part of the seeding list as we progressed through the regular weeks of the Challenger Cup series. So for them to just come out after all of it's said and done in the round robin and just do this phenomenally is just beyond me. I mean, they've just played lights out.
Yeah, Bushy doing freaking work over here, climbing up close to 35k player damage, seconded only to Vastrical, who was not able to break through 30k. Hell, unfortunately, was not able to break the 10k barrier, coming up a little short there with 5k
damage.
Yeah,
damage.
She had 20k healing, which is pretty much, she went hard tunnel vision for the healing, but once Pikachu's was able to get those utility anti-heals online, she really, her impact fell off because she put all her chips in the healer basket this game.
Yeah, I think that if she had maybe a bit more impact in terms of player damage in the earlier parts of the game, you would have seen a lot more mid camps contested. You would have seen a bit more of aggressive rotations because Hell does have a lot of damage. She does have
Yeah, for
a
sure.
decent amount of just burst damage if you let her do so. But with how isolated Hell was in the mindset of I'm just healing, I'm just healing, I'm just healing, it became a hard argument to make to say, Hell, do some damage for us so we can win these fights, and she wasn't able to do so. Zhang Kui, however, did pick up a lot of that slack, but at the end of the day, I think Perpetuum had a strategy. It didn't work out too well, and they kind of just played on the fly. But MVP, in my opinion, for Angry Pikachu's, out of all the games I've seen, has to be Big Man Tings. Has to be.
Hitting a lot of pulls without having to hit his roots too, just raw pulls through the walls, causing a lot of beats to have to be popped, a lot of early cooldowns used in these team fights to try and keep these people alive, and the big man things doing the big man things.
And not only just the highlight plays, but also just in general the sound guardian level plays. So getting 4-man Wrath of Terrors, getting a lot of player healing consistently. I mean, he's half of Hell. Like he's actually got
Yeah.
half the player healing that Hell had. He was always a good initiator. He always made sure he was in the right place at the right time. I mean, he was doing textbook guardian level play while still having some highlight worthy pulls. Them yoinks.
Demi yoinks though.
But we're going to go ahead and get set up for the next game. This will be our last one of the day. And then next week, we move on to the big showtime as we reach up the finals. But right now, we're going to go ahead and go to a brief break as we get ready for your last game of the day. Don't go anywhere, guys. This is Fall EU Challengers Cup Week 7. We'll be right back.